What's going on, guys? I'm Nick Rose. Today, I'm going to give you my top 5 favorite artists of the last decade. Now, for this list, I just want to do a little disclaimer. My top 5 is not necessarily the best or most lyrical artists of the last decade. For me, for this list, it's more about guys who really came in and changed the game and did something different or something big. Guys that have a lot of influence on the new rappers that we see today. So just keep that in mind while you watch the video. And I'm going to kick it off with Pouya at number 5. Pouya is a Florida underground rapper. He started a group about a year ago called the Buffet Boys with Shakewell and Fat Nick and a couple other guys. Right now, at this point in time, Pouya is kind of one of the leaders of the underground movement. When I first listened to him, it was when he released Get Buck. That was maybe 4 years ago.
So I gotta get rich, we all gonna die. Yeah. These haters gon' test me, but all of them pop. Yeah. I know you want it while you acting shy. This one's for the homies that really do know me. You claiming you hard with it, show me.
There was just something about him. His flow when he raps, even to this day, is just smooth. And I can't even explain it, but it almost kind of reminds me of Eminem. When he raps, when he did rap, he can go from one thing to the next, and it's a seamless transition, and that's what we get from Pouya. And that is really why I just loved his music right from the beginning. Then he did Suicidal Thoughts from the Back of the Cadillac, another song with seamless transitions. His flow is smooth the entire time, straight through. It's flawless. And for being an underground, unsigned rapper who has no major backing him, his production is next level for the budget that he has to work with. And I've just been a fan of his for a long time now. At the number 4 spot, we have Migos. I first discovered Migos way before they came out with Versace. Back when they did Trap Out the Bando.
Trapping out the house with the boys on the windows. Trapping out the house with the boys on the windows. Tried out the bando. Got two like Rambo.
And even as far back as when they did Hannah Montana, I heard that song about 5 years ago when it first came out, actually. I've been messing with Migos for a long time now, really right from the beginning. I know that they were out before that, but that's when they really started to pick up some speed and get a little bit of recognition. What really drew me to Migos was their chemistry as a group. For those of you who don't know, Migos is comprised of 3 core members. That is Takeoff, Quavo, and Offset. When they rap, Takeoff could spit a bar, then it could go to Offset, then it could go to Quavo, and then back to Offset. It's harmonious. They have complete harmony. It's smooth. They just have that group chemistry. To add to it, they are all related. All 3 of them are cousins. And back when Offset, I think this was 2015, he had gotten incarcerated. He went to jail. And normally, when people are starting to make millions of dollars, they're going to cut out the guy that's not around anymore. But instead of doing that, Quavo and Takeoff actually saved Offset's cut and gave it to him when he got out. They did not take any extra money because he wasn't there. They were a group. They knew they were a group. They didn't want to screw him over, so they kept his cut and he got his fair share just because they have that group chemistry. At the number 3 spot for me is Kendrick Lamar. I actually came on to Lamar a little bit late, back when he first did Good Kid, Mad City. Mad City was actually the first Kendrick song I've ever heard. I think I had heard bits of ADHD back in the day and Rigor Mortis and stuff, but I didn't really know who he was. I didn't know who or what I was listening to. When I first heard Mad City, I decided to go out and get the album and listen to it straight through. As I said in a previous video, I don't really do that, but there was just something about the song that really intrigued me. And at the time on Facebook and stuff, I had heard a lot of my friends and people I knew talking about Kendrick, calling him the best. So I really wanted to know what he was all about. And the way that he made, especially in this day and age where people don't make complete projects, they may have full albums, songs 1 through 15, but they don't have a complete project. And what I mean by that is that they're not bringing one song to the next and having a theme or anything. It's normally just basic generic bars thrown into a song, whatever rhymes, whatever's glamorous, but there's no coherency from start to finish. And that's exactly what Good Kid, Mad City gave us. From the first to the last track on the record, we got a story. It made you want to listen to the next song and the next song after that, so that you could hear what Kendrick really had to say. You could hear the story that he was trying to tell us. And that just drew me in, man. I loved it. I like when we get substance, especially from a rapper. Let's face it, today, with guys like Lil Uzi and Lil Yachty, who I love, I like their music, but they don't really do a coherent project the way that Kendrick Lamar does. Even now with To Pimp a Butterfly and a lot of his newer stuff, I just thought that it was incredible. I think a lot of people would agree with me when I say that Kendrick is probably, arguably, the all-around most talented and best rapper and hip-hop artist of his generation. So, in the number 2 spot, we have Young Thug, and I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. Wait till you guys see my number 1, because that year, I'm really going to get a lot of shit for. But at number 2, we do have Young Thug, and just hear me out for a second. I first discovered Thug when he was working with Pee Wee Longway. They had that collab thing that they were doing. A lot of his songs was with Pee Wee. A lot of Pee Wee songs were with Thugger. And at that point in time, he was still very street, very hood, very gritty. He didn't have that mainstream appeal that he has today. He didn't have the money that he has today. Back then, when I did hear him, I honestly didn't really care for his music much. Now, a lot of his fans will argue that that was his best stuff. I disagree. I really started to like Young Thug around the time, a little bit before he came out with the Barter 6. His production cleaned up a lot. That's when he started working with Rich Homie Quan and Bird Gang a lot. And he just became a lot cleaner. And when I say cleaner, I mean his rapping, his production, his songs. He started having London as a main staple producer on his tracks, which helped him tremendously. London on the track is probably one of the top 5 producers out today. Hit after hit after hit after hit after hit, especially when he works with Young Thug. On the Barter 6, Young Thug came out with the song called Power. And it instantly brought me in. That was an earworm for me. It was just the beat. And again, it was London who worked on that with him and who produced the track. But the beat was just smooth but bassy. And Thug's flow, again, was smooth and melodic and clean. After that, I heard Lifestyle. Lifestyle was actually out before that, but I never really gave the song a chance. And again, I loved Thugger's part on the song. And after that, we heard Check. And he just, at that point in time, he made hit after hit. And I was just really drawn to the guy's music. That's all I could really say about it. And at number 1, you guys better be sitting down for this one, we have Chief Keef. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. But I said in my last video that I uploaded that Chief Keef is kind of like the father of modern hip-hop. And what I meant by that is that he really inspired a generation. Chief Keef changed everything. He created the YouTube rapper. He may have been responsible for being the first real mumble rapper, which is what everybody's doing today. Whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny that. He showed us a real gritty side of things that was never really brought to the mainstream until we had Chief Keef. His first album, which was Finally Rich, was all hits, man. From the first to the last song, it was hits. Sicko, KK, Finally Rich, Hate Being Sober. I mean, he just hit it out of the park with that. Because of his personal screw-ups, his legal trouble, the fact that he was a kid and just made really stupid mistakes when he first got rich and famous, it kind of hurt his career today. But when he first came out, he inspired a generation. He was huge, man. And I just loved what he was doing at the time. When I first heard I Don't Like, it changed everything for me.
Don't like a snitch. Don't like.
As a kid, I was a huge hip-hop fan. My first 2 CDs were DMX and Lil Bow Wow. There was a point in time where I had stopped listening to hip-hop for maybe 5 years. I would listen to a couple things on the radio, maybe a Drake song here or there, but I mostly stuck with like classic rock music because the new rock music wasn't good either, in my opinion. Although I've always been really, really into music, I was kind of in a musical purgatory because I didn't know what I wanted to listen to. I didn't know what new music was going to appeal to me. And then a friend showed me I Don't Like by Chief Keef, and that's where that all changed, man. I got right back into hip-hop. I started listening to a lot of drill music, these drill rappers, and I just kept going. I got into hip-hop again. I wouldn't be here making these videos today had it not been for Chief Keef. So say what you will about the guy. He really inspired me. He just changed the game, and it was so fun and so entertaining to watch that unfold. When he first got his $6 million deal, no one was even getting $6 million deals at that time. People still aren't getting that. Not for a freshman rapper. It's unheard of. And he did it, man. That's how much influence he had. And had he not screwed up his career by just doing really dumb stuff, he'd be the biggest guy today. He would be as big as Drake and future Amigos. Those are my top 5 rappers. I do have a couple honorable mentions that I want to talk about, some special mentions. No specific order, just people who I thought really changed the game or brought something to rap music that maybe wasn't there before or had a lot of influence. I'm going to kick it off with A$AP Rocky. It was hard not to put him on this list. I first discovered A$AP back when he did Peso and Purple Swag.
Swag.
And I just loved the way that his beats were just real chill, that stoner music that you could just relax to. Then he brought A$AP Mob into the picture, and it was almost like the second coming of Wu-Tang. It was exciting, it was fun when he came around. My biggest complaint with A$AP today, and the reason why he didn't make this list, is because of his lack of content. He's made some albums, he's made a mixtape or two, but he's not like the other guys who are really hustling out there, you know? Even Kendrick Lamar, who is the mainstream of the mainstream, he has all the major backing, he has the money, he has the fans. He produces more albums, more songs, more records than A$AP does, and he doesn't even have to. So, you know, for me, that kind of turned me off a little bit, kind of put him back on my list, but I can't say that I don't love the guy as an artist. He is one of my favorite even to this day. Next, I want to talk about Young Lean. When I first heard Young Lean, it was when he came out with his song Hurt.
Shawty, I'ma do things that you ain't ever did. Finna wake up next to you in my crib, cause I'ma make you hurt. I'ma make you hurt.
Now, I may be wrong here, but I think that was his first music video he ever did, the first real song that he actually came out with. And he was kind of trolly, kind of like the Lil B riff-raff type of deal when he first came out. But once he realized that he could do this rapping and music stuff, he started to take it a little more seriously. He actually started his own little subgenre of like these white kids that rapped like real like psychedelic music and music videos, weird, really out there lyrics. He started his whole sad boys thing. I was just drawn to Young Lean as an artist. Finally, I just want to talk about Spaceghostpurrp. Now, a lot of you might not even know who Space Ghost is. So let me give you a little bit of background. He is a South Florida producer who at some point in time was an underground rapper. He came out with a song that got maybe 200,000 views on YouTube a while ago called The Black God.
I got to have the world in my hands, I'm a god. I'm no longer a black man, Who be the god of black, that's me, SGP, mystical, magic colors, my brothers on MTV. The black beat.
It's not really his music or his production that I want to give him a mention for. Prior to Spaceghostpurrp, there was not a lot coming out of Florida. Now, he started what was called Raider Clan. It was a collection and group of rappers from South Florida that worked together, collabed together, and they had this like dark, dreary, underground sound going on, and it was very unique. Even if you guys don't know who he is, you guys should know that rappers like Rob Banks, Young Simi, Xavier Wolf, Denzel Curry, even Pouya. Those were guys that he worked with very early in their careers. They were all either part of or affiliated with Raider Clan, and he was kind of the guy that gave them their sound, that really brought them up. Today, nobody talks about him. You don't ever hear of Spaceghostpurrp, but there was a time where he himself was picking up speed as a producer, and he really was responsible for a lot of these guys and where they're at today. Had it not been for him, I wouldn't know who Denzel Curry is. Denzel Curry made the XXL freshman list, but had it not been for Spaceghostpurrp and Raider Clan working with him back in the day 4 or 5 years ago, he may have never gotten to that point. He may never have even wanted to keep rapping or to start rapping for that matter. That's all I got for today, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I want to know your opinions. Do me a favor and don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.
Thank you.